Hi,
Hello,
Jay.
everybody. Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
We are at this crazy inflection point around the world where we are seeing evidence of failing systems everywhere we look, failing environmental systems, failing social systems, failing political systems. And as a result, business has been asked and has responded to the challenge to step into leadership and to lead in a new way, to reimagine and reset the economic system so that leaders are committing to lead for the benefit of all stakeholders. There's over 3,800 certified B corporations all around the world in 74 countries and over 150 industries with this one unifying vision to use business as a force for good. And what unifies these companies is not just the vision, but their high standards of performance that are verified by the independent third-party B Lab at meeting overall standards of social and environmental performance, transparency, and very importantly, legal accountability to balance purpose and profit. These are some of the B Corps all around the world, some of whose names you might recognize, some who are not. Some are publicly traded, some are private, but they're across all industries, all sizes and shapes. And it includes multinationals. Unilever and Danone, Procter & Gamble, Nestle, Coca-Cola, The Gap, all have many, many B Corp subsidiaries. And there are publicly traded B Corps from Brazil to the US, in technology, in agriculture, in banking, and these are all leading the way. We also recognize that these individual actions by companies, even collectively, are necessary but insufficient for the change we seek in the world. And we need to work together on maybe the most important thing, which is on shaping public policy so that it's in right relationship. So the public sector is in right relationship with the private sector and civil society to rebalance the relationship between business and society. The B Corp community has passed over 40 laws around the US and around the world to create a new form of corporation that is accountable to create value for all stakeholders. And now there's a very important act in the UK called the Better Business Act that is looking to amend the UK corporate law so that all companies are required to consider their impact on all stakeholders.
Yes, you mentioned reset, and at this point, I would like to ask about Imperative 21. So it asks for a reset of our economic system, the change of business values, everything must be redefined. So how this reset will be possible? Is it graspable for the business?
Imperative 21, which believes that the imperative of the 21st century is to reset our economic system so that its purpose is to create shared well-being on a healthy planet. This is a network of these coalitions and collaborations on different areas of systems change, from finance to public policy to shifting mindsets and corporate culture. We began that effort in September of last year on the 50th anniversary of the very famous essay by the US economist Milton Friedman, sort of the father of neoliberal economic theory. And we realized that this was an important milestone to shift our mindsets from thinking about the purpose of capitalism to maximize profit to the purpose of capitalism to maximize shared well-being on a healthy planet. Of course, we hope you're inspired to take action in your organization, consistent with your organization's priorities and the imperatives for economic systems change, to design for interdependence, invest for justice, and account for stakeholders, whether that's contributing to the SDGs, being a champion of climate justice, taking action for racial and gender equity, or adopting stakeholder governance. We hope that you will join us in building a new cooperating system for our economy, and we hope you're ready to reset with us.
And taking into account the depletion of natural resources, climate change, inequalities in income, education, and gender, too many problems we are facing today. And you said that we need a system change. First of all, I would like to ask you, is there a recognition of the system failure in the business world? And secondly, how do the B Corps offer a credible alternative for this system change?
There's nothing wrong with making money, but if we can make money and make a difference at the same time, that is a much more fulfilling way to live. And it also inspires more people to work with you. So it also enables you to hire and retain and engage the best talent in the world, because everybody not just wants a paycheck, but they want to connect that paycheck with a higher purpose. And so we've seen a huge shift and an accelerating shift of our culture to focus on the need to rethink and reimagine and reset our economic system.
Yes, absolutely. And we are already seeing that the rules of the games are changing and that we need a new social contract. And as you mentioned in the Business Roundtable, 200 big corporations, US corporations, they were committed to lead for the benefit of all stakeholders. So this shift from shareholder capitalism to stakeholder capitalism is very important. So how do you evaluate this shift? Why companies are decided to be good?
Well, Didem, I'd say there's one thing that's happened that I think is worth noting, which is several of those companies, several of those CEOs that signed that Business Roundtable statement had an opportunity to adopt stakeholder governance, right? To make their corporate governance match their declared commitment to lead for the benefit of all stakeholders. And they declined the opportunity, right? The reason is that it's very difficult to be the first actor. You feel like if you take a step that it will put you at a disadvantage relative to your competitors. And so this is an example where we have a collective action problem. And one of the only ways to solve that collective action problem is for those CEOs, those same CEOs who said they wanted to commit to lead for the benefit of all stakeholders, to work with policymakers to say, instead of just having a few of us take this step and feel very lonely and scary and potentially have negative impacts of that, we need you to change the rules of the game. So it requires all of us to take this step together. Because if we all take this step together, it will feel less scary. And it also means that none of us will be at any perceived competitive disadvantage.
Thank you very much, Jay. I really feel very lucky to have the opportunity to interview you. Thank you very much for your very inspiring comments.
Thank you, everybody.